All right, so today I wanted to talk about me time. We all need a little me time. This has to do with something that happened probably 15 to 20 years ago. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Nancy Grace. So, I used to have a job and I would get off work at 5 o'clock. This was in Phoenix, Arizona, and I would drive home from work. Then it usually took me about an hour with traffic because Phoenix is a big city. So by the time I got home, it would be 6 o'clock at night. And at 6 o'clock at night, the Nancy Grace show would come on. It came on headline news, which I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. Every day I would get off work. And as soon as I got home at 6 o'clock, I would watch Nancy Grace. And that was like me time. That was like my wind down from work time. Sometimes I would eat dinner and watch TV. And that was just my way of, at the end of the day, kicking back and relaxing by watching Nancy Grace. And if you want me to talk about when that time period was, because I said maybe it was 15, 20 years ago, this is when there were a lot of stories in the news having to do with Casey Anthony. So I would watch that every day. And, that was just my thing that I used to do. Now, also during this time, I was dating someone. Okay, so do y'all remember a book that was called like Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus or something like that? The reason I'm mentioning that book, that's also a very old, outdated book. It has probably what would be considered traditional roles in which the man works and the woman stays at home and takes care of the kids. In that book, it was advice for women, basically telling them that when your man works all day and comes home, they're like really worn out from work, and that you shouldn't stress them out with any of your troubles. You shouldn't complain to them about how your day was, and you shouldn't tell them about things that happen with the kids at school or whatever, or something that happened at the market. I guess they assume that's what women do, is shop at the market and take care of kids all day. So yeah, because men need time to wind down. Okay, so that was kind of one of the topics in that book. Okay, so like I said, I was dating someone at this time, and of course they knew what time I got off work, and so then of course they would either always call me right at 6 o'clock, or they would just show up at my house at 6 o'clock uninvited, and they'd be like, "Oh, well, you've been at work all day. I just wanted to come say hi." It's like, okay, well, I'll talk later. I'm watching my Nancy Grace. And I just thought, I'm sorry, but I've been at work all day and I need to wind down. I don't think that was inappropriate of me to have some me time at the end of the day. So that's what I would do. And I remember at some point in time, this person got very angry at me, told me Nancy Grace was stupid. Why do you watch that garbage? Basically was like, you shouldn't watch that. You should spend time with me. We're in a relationship. You care more about Nancy Grace, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Where I was just like, who cares what I'm watching? Like, this is something that I like to do. And I should be allowed to have my time to do what I like to do. So at the end of the day, after I have worked all day, I guess I'm kind of leaving out the part that this person didn't work. So after I worked all day, I'm tired and I'm worn out and I want to kick back and watch TV. So if I want to kick back and watch TV, I should be allowed to do that. And I'm sorry if that's selfish, but that's just how I feel. So obviously we broke up. But I really just felt like maybe in that role, I was the man coming home and I didn't want to hear about your complaints and your day. I wanted to just unwind and rest. And I think we all need to have our own space and time to do what we enjoy to do, even if that means we want to be alone when we do it. Whether we want to sit and watch Game of Thrones or whatever your favorite thing is to do, that's just something you like to just kick back and relax. And you don't want to be hassled by someone or someone who just shows up at your house uninvited. Yeah, you're in a relationship, but still, you should call first, okay? Just saying. I don't really watch Nancy Grace anymore, and I know she still does work, but it's one of those things where I just felt like I enjoyed watching it at the time, and you should always have a thing that you enjoy. Like, you shouldn't give up your whole life for somebody else that you're in a relationship with. You should always have your own interests. But I also just felt like there's a big portion of my life where I have kind of given into someone, where I did whatever they wanted to do instead of doing what I wanted to do. And it really made me resent the person because I really just wanted to like watch Nancy Grace. What's so bad about watching Nancy Grace? Apparently it was terrible. It was a terrible thing for me to do that. But that's what I wanted to do. That's what I did. And I don't have any regrets.